Okay, just want to start off by saying thank you, God. And this is always something I want to start off by saying. Um, for me, it's important to make these videos. No matter who's watching it at this point, I think that I've been able to express myself and articulate and be able to make my testimonials kind of understood. Or not even understood, but at least heard. My first video was made in July 2020, and by now I think I've been able to vocalize all the disturbingness of what's happening to me as a target individual. But I also need to be thankful to God, because as you are in this program, you realize that anybody can partake and participate in that. And you see how people operate in order to feel comfortable benefiting for what they benefit from participating in this, whatever it is. And there's a lot. This is a program that's obviously led by the government. They're developing this technology. They've been investing in this technology, and this technology is weaponized. And it's clear that human subjects are test subjects, and that's what target individuals are. To see what people, first of all, how they try to make you subscribe to that, well, it's such a failure. It doesn't even make sense. And to see who's trying to make sense of it, from childlike human beings to intellectuals, and you see them doing their best to disorient you as a target individual, to make you subscribe to this nonsensicalness that's put in front of you. It's hard to believe that people could dumb themselves down to that level for you to dumb yourself down. That they would be willing to make themselves look that stupid, so you as a target individual be gaslighted. It's crazy. With me, even the background of why I ended up becoming a target individual, who put me in this situation, and today, to see who's trying to really make me think what this is about, and the contracts, is comical. And to see who's trying to even negate that, who's trying to partake in this, what they're trying to make me see them as, is another level of stupidity that you can't even understand. The stupidity that they want you to, and the way they want target individual to be thinking of this. Target individual, please stay strong on understanding what this is about. What's presented to you is a fraudulency. It's a facade. These people are clowns, contracted. They're just an opportunist or an opportunist. They are opportunists that just are partaking something that's way bigger than them. These clowns, and they know that, and it's obvious. But what they try to present to you, target individual, something else. I'm thankful that I never had to. I never even had the option to put myself in these circumstances where I'll be involved in this program that's clearly a government-led program, where I'm with even children acting like it's their money, where we warriors together, like they even utilize children as perps. And they're supposed to make me think they're just some warrior and they're at war, and like, gosh, I feel like an idiot. I'm like, I don't even look at these clowns. I'm a warrior like them too. I'm like this retarded teenager. Like, thank God I wasn't put in this circumstance. And listen, I don't think I'm better than everybody. I don't take myself serious in the sense of like, oh, I want to. No. But thank God that I couldn't be around some child like and tell teenagers, kids, like, you act this way because you're at war. You're gonna win. It's like, God. Thank you, God. And I have my body cam, so you'll see some of the clown stuff I experience here. You'll see who's these warriors. It is so theatrical. You'll see the neighbors here. Some of the teenage trash that was so humiliated yesterday that they try to circle back. I have body cams for a reason. They know that, they see it. I even when I see them try to do, I point it out to them, like, and I speak to the cameras. Look at this clown. Look in front of them, in their faces. And they know I'm gonna pull that, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Today, as a target individual, what's happened to me is that you heard my testimonies. And you're going to see the videos, and you can clearly see that they're just really orchestrating things in certain ways. That's clear that they know what this is about. Even the way they act makes it even more obvious that these trash are involved in something that's so far. And obviously what I've been bringing up, that a lot of other target individuals says, today I'm being manipulated to give manipulations that are degrading for the purpose of painting me in certain ways. They do that to others. They force you to have perception of children, from the youngest one to the oldest one, in this degrading ways. And then they contract this trash, which we call perps, the civilians. They come in all shape or form. They have no shame. They think that the way they can gaslight you is if we act accordingly. You will start, and that's what gaslighting is. If we all act a certain way, we're like, oh yeah, that's you, yeah. You'll be like, oh yeah, it is me. He did, he should. Like they will act certain ways in that way. Like they'll act in certain ways, and like, yeah, you see, you experience that. That's natural. You see, that's you. And you, as a target individual, be like, oh my gosh, I'm not being manipulated. It's me. And really want you to, like, that's really what's gonna work here. Like you, the stranger, who's like, yeah, that's you. I'm like, oh yeah, this stranger said this. It took, like, I could have been that person doing that. I could have been like, yeah, that's you. It could have been me. That's why I say thank God, because my brain is being altered and manipulated. And that's what this whole thing is about. They are developing this technology, and as Robert Duncan says, it's more like efficacy, as in improving and like, what's the word again? Refining the technology and the ability, and improving in what's better way to just manipulate somebody, and what's going to the effect of that, and how to better work in regard, make that person identify what is how these people have to act, what ways of them acting will make somebody subscribe to this. Like all the, you can see they just kind of work with these technologies. Like, if I act this way, if this person says it, what versus if they say in this aggressive way, they say it in a front. Like if they talk about how they're gonna be, this person's gonna be tortured if you you see they're trying to understand the best in regard of like what works in regard of not only manipulating the individual, but make the individual identify to this manipulation, and like continuously improving on it. Plus the technology, I feel the technology, there's nothing they cannot make me experience, right? I hopefully feel helpless in regard of how I'm being manipulated. It's up to them. I'm truly a puppet and a puppeteer in the sense of my brain being manipulated. I've accepted reality. I have no control of my mind in regard of my experiences and what I experience. My memories, they can go wherever they want to. I've accepted the reality of that is how bad things are. I've accepted they can do this damaging things to my body remotely, and there's nothing I can do about it. But also, I have accepted this is a program led by the government. And understand that's this who's behind these things. These clowns are what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to make me think it's their money and this is a group of this group and that group and this bullshit. So as a target video today, I'm being manipulated, tormented, my body's being damaged, my mind's being destroyed. I'm sure I have brain damage, but also my thought process. My thought process are just altered and manipulated using this technology that the government has been working for decades. You heard this in articles written in 1970 about Jose Delgado, and obviously it doesn't bring up everything. It just talks about Jose Delgado, but there was other development and researches being done by DARPA that obviously there's no article about. That's obviously perhaps even more sophisticated. Even Jose Delgado talked about, oh, they're working on this electromagnetic technology where you don't even need to implant electrodes in the brain. That they could do that remotely. That means I didn't have to implant these electrodes in these monkeys. I could control these monkeys without even implanting them with anything. Today I have perps around me who's supposed to gaslight me, and you should see what these perps look like. Some of them are like, oh my gosh, you, who you look like, what you are, gonna try to negate history. You have to go look at yourself in the mirror and say, nah, that's not true. I'm talking about these perps. To hear childlike perps who try to disorient me and make me subscribe with this bullshit story and think that the technology that they've been developing is not something they even talked about in the 60s and the 50s. And to see some teenage retard try to make you subscribe to that is one thing. Then you see some professional intellectuals, quote unquote, books intellectual. And then you understand who fuels these retards, who energize these childlike individuals. For them to not even be like, to be so out of touch with reality that they could, oh, this is the people who energize you to be this idiotic, to think that you as a child could be like denying the history of the ability of this technology. Because there's people like that exciting them. Yesterday I was interacting with somebody. Listen, I know that a lot of the people I interact with, these women, are perps. You know, I've always get better with people who are progressive and have this open state of mind. This is not about politics. My videos are not about politics. Target videos, no matter if you're Republican, conservative, liberal, what, it doesn't matter. They want human subjects as their subject. So they'll take people from all culture, all races and gender. But with me, there's always a facade with a lot of target videos. They try to confuse you into thinking something else here. Who put me in this program? It was an employer who's extremely influenceable in this country. What they've done to this country today is well recorded. And they're not anybody. They are perhaps the biggest donors of the most conservative portion of politics. They are trying to bring even the right side, the Republican, further to the right. They're known for that. There's articles about that. And I was employed there for almost 5 years. I left there because I knew something was off, that they put me in some kind of thing or something was happening with them. Didn't know exactly what. I started figuring that this thing is worse. Because first of all, I left the job, tried a new job, and they start acting the same way. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm still in the same area that where I used to work. Maybe they know these people directly. Let me leave the States and come to New York City. I'll come to New York City. Is happening here. And actually, it's even more, it's like, it goes crazier. And I think it's because they're waiting for me to get away from where this started. The gang stalking started being more obvious. And then on August 19, 2019, that's when the thing just went crazy, and I started dealing with the V2K and synthetic telepathy. But they started presenting themselves as like this feminist, and they started like becoming this thing of like this, avenging. And for a second there, I was like, what? It doesn't make sense, because I'm looking at who put me in here, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at contrast. It was like, this is nuts. And then finally, in the summer of 2020, I find the testimonial, because I was already understanding first of all, this is not what they're presenting themselves. They're acting like something's going on. It just doesn't make sense. Then in the summer of 2020, I discovered the testimonials and figured out what was happening to me, what it was called. I'm a target individual, and understood that there's thousands of men and women all around the world being utilized as test subjects. And there's a lot of women getting destroyed with the same technology that's destroying me. And they're begging for help. They try to get help, and it's all around the country, all around the world, everywhere. I started hearing the testimonials. I could identify with the testimonials of many of them, or a lot of what they're saying I could identify, and start understanding, they don't even just do these things, they do these things systematically. You start hearing the same things that you go through, and sometimes as such in details. It's crazy. Like things that is not just like a broad, like for example, Mariana, well-spoken target individual, there's a video of her of about an hour and a half or so of her testimonial. She said something about how she one day woke up and her arm was numb. And I'm like, completely numb, and it's just like dead. And I remember when they started doing that to me, like when this whole thing started on August 19, 2019, this one morning I wake up, everything, my left, one of my arm just completely numb. And it just slowly came back, and she described it the same way. I'm like, wow. Because that's not something a lot of target individuals said, but when she said that, I was like, that's literally what. So I'm like, okay, this is something structured, and it's obviously global, and they obviously torture a lot of women, and there's obviously this systematic tactics when it comes to the way they torture the body. They sexually torture women, they sexually torture men, of course, but also children. But then they also do this manipulation of the mind. Even Mariana, this testimonial started opening in my mind, like, okay, they do that to her. She said something about the pedophilia type of torture. She literally used that term. And I was like, that's what they do to me. They make me have this reaction toward these children, from the youngest to the oldest. It make me have this stimulation and all these disturbing things. But it goes further. There's a man called Robert Duncan who wrote a book talking to 1,000 or so target individual, writing down like what the consistency and the patterns of what they do. One of the most common thing they do is they implant in your brain. They can manipulate your brain to have imagination, and they do these things that's child porn like imaginations. It's actually the number 6 on his list. So you clearly hear, okay, they do these things systematically. Then this women say, they start making me feel this weird feeling and stimulation. First on my dog. Like when I was petting my dog, I felt this stimulation. Then they start doing that towards people, young people with children. She said that. I mean, the testimonials are so validating. It's scary. Now you have these clowns around you. No, it's you. And they try to find ways to pick things together. It's like, no, we're not doing the things that you just heard this person say. And then they're like, yeah, no, that's you. We're not manipulating. We're mapping. We're minding. using different verbiage instead of what this is obviously is. And then you start hearing the historical aspect of things, that they've been developing technology. And who's they? The government, the Department of Defense, literally in the 50s and 60s, and that's started all about the Cold War and the Korean War. Because they understood that the ultimate weapon system would be controlling the mind. Like, what else is better? Nuclear bomb? No. What if you control somebody who controls the nuclear bombs? And so it's been an effort for them since the 50s and so to develop technology where they can control the mind. Forget about just reading your mind. No. Controlling, manipulate your brain, altering your brain, changing your brain according to what they do. Turn you into a puppet. And then do that at a mass level too. And you understand they've been investing so much because they're investing on something that is just the ultimate weapon system. Forget about anything. The jets and the controlling human beings in masses too. What can be better than that? So this program, they start working on that. And it's been done in a systematic way where on top they target specific individuals in that way. I don't know if these perps are enough. Obviously these perps also have some kind of, it's kind of linked. They have this technology kind of connect to them in some ways, because I can see even little children start saying things out of nowhere that's kind of disturbing. So it's clear that perhaps maybe not manipulate the way target individual are manipulated, but it seems like they are utilized in a fashion where they also use this technology onto them to do what they do. But I clearly understand what this is about. And the things they do are diabolical. They're disgusting trash. Because to get the best result, it seems like pain, suffering is something they want the target individual to experience. Horror, atrocities is part of this whole thing. It has to come with this. And they do that to women, children. The evilness we were talking about is things that can't even comprehend, and it's so easy, if effortless evilness. People in their pajamas thing, just the only thing it takes, it seems like it's just time. It could even, one might even say it could even be boring. Because, like, you know, this, at least for me, like, it's just the same thing. Like, you just manipulate this person. There's no, what's risky about that? The only people who take the risk is this clown who's so delusional, who thinks that I subscribe to this. But I understand. But what disturbs me is like how people try to normalize these things. And so I know what they do to women and children. I know the horror. It's so evil. They make women lose their job, lose their life, their career. There's women who have lost everything. There's so much. Here in New York, there's a woman called Ella. She's living in hotels. You know how high she got? There's women who, architectures that decide to live in the streets or somewhere away from their home because their home is being radiated. You hear that? This is part of this ecosystem. There's women who've lost everything. They have family. Cannot make any money. Become handicapped. You can clearly hear this law enforcement, the department, like they're all involved. It's a whole ecosystem. Now, yesterday, I was interacting with this woman. Now, for me, the facade they've been presenting is is a facade like they're just avenging feminists. And it's, you know, it's their money. And they are at war, and it's like, first of all, you're not at war. You're using human subject as test subject. Children are also used as test subject. Women are used as test subject. There's no war. We're defenseless. There's nothing we can do. We just endure what we can endure. If you want to survive, you better live in your in a car, be homeless, just be a nomad. Try to travel, go places where it's less aggressive. The true survivors, as target individual, they become very mobile. They move around, they try to find the places where nasty. So they try to mess with me because they say some things, they arouse. They have this, the technology clearly can manipulate you to have sexual arousals. It's so easy. This is like the 60s old technology. They were able to make human beings have sexual arousal pressing a button because they have actual stimulating the part of the brain that stimulates your libido. Clear easy manipulation. Today's manipulation is at another level. But going back to who's that impacted by this, a lot of women are being tortured and sexually tortured, by the way. They love to play with their libido, make them have sexual stimulation whenever they want, in the most degrading way. You hear the women who stay in bed, they just have like 20 orgasms because they keep pushing that. Listen to Mariana's testimony. You hear her how she's being sexually tortured every day. Couldn't even use the restroom. But like Mariana, like the Megans and Lisa Bakers, and terrible things. And the whole community partake in this, even on women. Now, yesterday I was talking to this woman, and I'm glad I got a chance to talk to her, because if you've watched a lot of my videos, I talk about these people participating. They've been trying to present the facade of like, we're this sensible, very progressive, almost feminists, or like we're feminists and we're just like avenging because we're here to make you pay for what you've done and this and that, and like they call out Courtney and Brittany and it's like, yeah, he just this and that. I'm like, trash. You join a program that's out here raping women because sexual torture is commonly used. They usually use rape consistently onto not only men but women. They get raped every day, one way or another. They are being sexually tortured, and that's only one aspect of the tortures. And then they refuse them proper treatments. And then you have this trash who wants me to think that you join a program where you are here raping women and torturing them, refusing treatments, making women homeless, destroy their health. Some of them have families. And I'm going to think that you did that because you want me to pay. You're an opportunist trash. You wanted to partake in a program where you clearly can do these things to people, where there's clearly benefits. You can clearly use a human. You can clearly manipulate the mind of a human being. You can clearly feel like a god, and I'm a puppet. Then the things that disturb me is the way they manipulate me when I see these freaking children, even these retarded teenage kids. Then they act like, oh, we protect kids, women and kids. That's why we protect trash. You torture women and kids, and then you manipulate the brain in these degrading ways toward children, so you can act like you're protecting kids. Disgusting trash. Because you're an opportunist, but who still want to make herself believe that you're doing it for this thing. Trash us. You joined the wrong program. You're in a program that's killing women and is clearly able to manipulate the brain. And you manipulate the brain the way you desire me to experience things, so you can paint yourself in a certain way. Then use these clowns that are supposed to gaslight me. It's so nasty. They're bringing up some of the things they did here too. They do that from the youngest kid to the oldest kid. Even some like young adults. There was some they look like 18, 21 or something like that, around that age group. And they're stimulating me. It's like, you do that to the baby, so it's okay. And they try to create these mental battles. But you gotta be strong. Because this woman, the way she was talking about, oh, she's doing this because, women, she calls herself a feminist, and women are just, I'm looking for somebody like this feminist, that feminist, like you disgusting trash. Are you such a selective feminist, huh? What happened to this woman over there? that are here begging, dying in this program, who've died and killed themselves, suffer crazy. And you know what they respond? Oh, we're going to torture you worse. Okay. Yeah, real feminists, huh? You involve yourself in the program that's out here killing, raping women to death. And you say because you join in, first of all, this is not that. And second of all, to wait to negate the fact that you're involved in something that torture women to death, you're going to torture me worse. I'd rather be tortured worse than be involved in something that does this. I will never want to be connected with anything of that nature. And then call myself a feminist? You're an opportunist. You're an opportunist. And feminism is your selective ways of creating this feminism. You join something you know what's doing. If you're a true feminist, you'll be against this. You'll be fighting against that. You'll be like, let's just try to save all these women out here being raped and tortured to death. But you come in, it's like, oh no, I'm doing it for Britney, for Courtney. What? You involved in a program that's killing women and children? You're an opportunist. You will destroy. You will ignore Britney and Courtney if she was a target individual. You will try to negate that they tell me how much at war they are. They are at war with one thing, with reality. The reality that they're involved in a program that's killing women and children. That's it. That's the only war they're in. Then talk about how these women and this and that. And what I'm looking, I was like, ugh, such a disgusting. And they paint the picture of what these people have called to be a PSYOP. Listen, I'm progressive, but truly, I'm disturbed to know that you literally are what people talk about when they talk about this progressive, nonsensical trash. You're that, and I'm progressive. You make feminism look bad. You look like these clowns that made people start voting for Trump. The people who put me in this program, you can't even say it. The people who put me in this program, the most conservative you can imagine, the extreme conservative. They're the one. You can hear me. I have a whole recording of almost an hour, me talking to my manager. Let's call him Nicholas. Talking to him, saying, I love to work for this company, but the way this thing is happening, people are acting weird. It's 2018. That's why this who put me in this program. That's why I'm a target individual. That's why you get the chance to be a god toward me. And look what they're doing to this country. And look who they donate money to. You should hear them say Roy Moore. A man who was running to be a governor in Alabama, but all this allegation of him raping 14-year-old kids when he was an assistant DA came up. They still donating money to him. To hear this perp participating in what's happened to me, try to say his name. I don't know why they're restricted to say his name. I don't know why the name has to be said in certain ways. I don't understand. Because everybody was talking about how crazy this guy was to still try to run for governor after this allegation. Even Trump had to fall back. Not the company that donated money. And you still want me to think that it's your money, you guys are some feminist, disgusting trash. How much intelligence? And they tell me you're going to be homeless, you're going to die. It's like, you're going to try to compensate for the fact that you're involved in a program that's out here torturing women and children, and you're ran by governmental entities. This program is ran by these governmental entities. You guys are just the clowns participating in this development of this technology. And the governmental entities running this program, talk about pedophilia. Jesus. To find out that DOD is ranked top tier child porn trafficker, that ranking came in 2018. Some of the most child porn being shared and trafficked is coming from the DOD. In their network, they're sharing peer-to-peer. And today they tell me, with this feminism, they're gonna frame me with children. They're gonna have children pretend they're getting raped, but it's different because they're feminist, so it's fierce. Oh, it goes even further. Because we're feminists, we're also gonna implant child porn. You see how disgusting they are? You see how they have destroyed like feminism? That's why people look at it as just a PSYOP. Disgusting trash. And they sound fierce too. Like what they're doing is just so fierce. It's disgusting. It's just trash. You work for pedophiles. You do this pedophilia type of torture. You have children pretending they're getting raped, and then you say that it's fierce to implant child porn. Jesus. Dude, you just coward trash with no self-respect. And they tell me that, you know, the things they said, that the way they're going to frame me, the way they're going to orchestrate this whole thing, the way they're going to set me up, is when I'm with somebody at night, like one of these perp who maybe I become intimate with this woman, like whoever, you know, I become intimate with. If she stays the night and I sleep, the woman will leave and a child will come in and replace her in my bed, and they will take pictures. And then before I wake up, she goes, and then the woman comes back. It's the kind of stuff they talk about. I just heard some trash. Let me just say, to make me subscribe the way they manipulate me right now. Somebody say, Snapchat. You know, the social media. First of all, these clowns they use these childlike retards that get energized by these people, because these intellectuals, these professionals, this executive are like fueling the retardation of these people, these children. Snapchat is something I've been on since I was in college, or maybe fresh out of college. All my friends are on it. Everybody I was from young adult I knew are all on it. In 2014, I followed somebody called Ocean, who I thought was an adult. She looked way older than her age. She looks today the same age. She's 27. She looked the same than when I followed her about 10 years ago. I thought she was an adult. I never even talked to her in my life. I just thought, okay. Never interacted. Like, yeah, you attracted. You see, I was like, she looked like a grown woman when she wasn't. That's why I thought she was an adult. She looks the same today, or about the same. Very little changes than when I followed her, because she always looked like an adult when she wasn't. Now, these clowns today are using that. And by the way, never interacted with this person. Don't even know her. Don't even talk. I've never talked. I don't know her. You know how you follow somebody you never talked to, you never follow, just see the stories. Okay, but these clowns here have fueled themselves to believe that this I'm not being manipulated, because in 2014 I followed this person, and they acting like they're like, oh, it's gonna help us being character that you raped us. This clown trash. This trash working for top tier pedophiles. And that's clear that this trash have the agenda to paint a falsified reality, because they're telling you they're gonna frame you. And they have people like her who say that's feminist. No, that's not. That's utilizing the PSYOP of feminism. Trash. You're not protecting women or children. You're actually endangering children and women. First of all, you're involved in a program that's killing women, and these retard children, if they come near me thinking that I swear to God, it's not going to be good. Traumatizing is just stay strong. Do not identify with the manipulation. You are being altered. Your brain is being changed. They make you experience the things they want you to experience. With me, they make me have sexual stimulation to the youngest child to the oldest kid. Sometimes even just young adults. They just I think I can show you. These girls are like 18 and 21. Let me see. Yeah. I just saw this. Let me show you some of this little retard. They say they're gonna frame me with this pathetic little. Ugh. You should see how sad it is. I don't even want to use their picture too much because it's so pathetic. They're like 13, 14 looking. Ugh. I'm supposed to be into that. It's even stimulating me right now. But they stimulate you, they manipulate you in the degrading ways. From the little ones to kids like that, little 13-year-old, to like older kids, to even like young adults. In my head, they still try to mess with me with this little. I swear, I'm going to be quick because it's so sad. I actually feel bad for this. Like at that point, it's not even like Look at this. It's so sad. My brain, it just try to make me think of them in sexual way. They even make me think of their private parts, and it's so disturbing. You gotta be strong. Do not identify with these manipulations. With me, like I said, I've been manipulating this degrading way, and you want me to identify with this. But also, do not subscribe to the facade presented to you. It's not a cult. It's not a group of whatever. It's governmental entities utilizing you and utilizing these perps around you to break you down. And thank God I didn't get the option to participate in this and make myself a clown. Thank you. But give me strength for what I'm going to go through. Because I put that in their faces all the time. You know why the rage they get? It's the only rage they have. It's the rage that they just humiliated by the reality what they involved in. And I put that in their faces. They wanted to do that in their deluded reality. Where there's some kind of avenger, fear scruple. Like, yeah, war, trash us. You are at war with defenseless people. Telling me just stay strong. And see this trash for what they are. They are destroying the life of the most vulnerable and then pretending like they're protecting vulnerable individuals like women and children.